to McFast Capital channel. My name is Michael Chu, and this week we'll be doing the market recap video for the week ending April 25th, 2025. So yeah, we just less than a week away from May. We are 4 months into this year. Market has been not the best, for a couple months here, and this is Nasdaq on the weekly chart, but we have seen um, a higher low and a higher high. So that kind of formed the definition of uptrend. And this uptrend looks very steep right now in terms of the bounce. So starting to look like a V-shaped rebound. So that is good news. We are coming to the 50 day, so the red line 10-week moving average here. So we may find some resistance here, like most likely. Unless there's some really good macro news, the market might take off. But I think we should be pausing here or at least find some resistance there. Obviously, the worst thing we want to see is that it kind of, get rejected here at this level and start to fall again. And even when it falls, we have a lot of room for this rally to continue. Like even if it falls this much and comes back, it still looks okay. So yeah, so it's a very strong week. We actually came down on Monday and then came back the rest of the week. So let's go look at daily chart right now. Here's the recent drop, and Monday we have a gap down drop. So that looks very scary because we are below the long-term trend line here, right? So we were below that, and then we bounced back on Tuesday. Some news related to, I think, that maybe US want to talk to China about tariff stuff, so there's some positives there, and then the market, uh, continue to rally right after that. So very strong bounce so far. Like every day is like, yeah, I think every day was at least 1 or 2%. So 2% here on Tuesday, percent again, 2.5% on Wednesday, 2.7% again on Thursday, and Friday we finished with a 1.2%. So we have 4 strong days of bounce, right from this low here. So very powerful move. The other thing is we have follow through days. So follow through days are when you have a higher up day than the previous day. So that right there, and then we have another one here. So we have actually two follow through days, one after another, which is a very good sign. It shows that money really want to come back in. And again, that so Tuesday, it is still a little bit iffy whether this actually going to work because that was the first follow through day. But then the next day it gap up and yeah, and that it never came back to the trend line, so that's one thing. But it did kind of reverse from the highs and close in the gap. But then Thursday we bounce again, like without making a new low. So notice every bounce we haven't make a new low. So that is very powerful. So anyhow, looks very good right now. Again, we are coming to this red line here. So that we on the daily chart is still a little bit apart away. So we could gap up again Monday morning and then reverse. And that will be a resistance right there on this line, on the red line coming down. That's the 50-day moving average. So for the week, it's up 6.73%, very strong bounce. Again, from a technical perspective, this is undercuts the low of last week, and then it make a higher high than last week. So that is a bullish, this so-called candlestick on the weekly chart. Very similar chart, up 4.59%. Again, higher lows and higher highs. On the daily chart, again, we broke this downtrend line right here. Yeah, and then the 50-day moving average coming down. So we act as resistance there. So on the Dow, it is up 2.48%. It's a little bit weaker. You can see it did make a higher low, but not a higher high. So that is a little bit troublesome here from that perspective. So you can see, if you draw the trend line, it is still kind of, very steep, number one, and number two, it's not above it. No matter how you try to draw it, it's just not above the trend line. We're seeing at the 21-day moving average. So that's something that Dow hasn't done. The Russell here 2000 also shows some improvement. It's actually up 3 weeks now because last week it actually didn't go down. So we do have higher lows and also higher highs. It's up 4% for the week, and this one is slightly above the 21 day, so that's good. So unlike the only one that hasn't crossed the 21 day is Dow. So here's the 21 day and 10 day right there converging, and same as S&P, so roughly around there. They're both around similar area. Here's RSP, the equal weight S&P, very similar chart, a little bit weaker on Friday, and this is QQEW Nasdaq 100 equal weight, also showing strength still. This is from the Investors Digital Daily newspaper. What I want to show you here is the New York Stock Exchange advanced decline daily line. So we have been improving this last 4 days. Friday a little bit flat, but it has been going up. So that shows the number of stocks up on Friday 1100 versus 1000 down. So a little bit, just a little bit above the up versus down. On the Nasdaq advanced decline line, we actually seeing a little bit more strength, 1700 versus 1600. So it's very equal in terms of on Friday the number of stocks up and down, but overall also been moving up. So Nasdaq has been really lagging in this line. It's been always hitting new lows in the very long time, but lately it's been showing some signs of strength. And also S&P has always been more stronger in that sense. At least in the last 6 months, it's been better performing from a number of stocks perspective. So even here you can see the vertical up here is just even stronger than here. So that's really good. Okay, so here's Nasdaq. And what I want to show is like we are back to levels that are quite from the I think this is, let me just double check it. This is April 2nd, yes. So April 2nd was the day the reciprocal tariff was announced. So I mean, from that perspective, the market has almost recovered to it. So that's really quite amazing, right? Considering where we are today. We haven't heard any new negotiation deal yet from the US. So why I bring this up? Because, from a fundamental macro perspective, we haven't really improved since that day, right? Like nothing has improved really other than negotiations going on. So I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't be surprised that, as the 10 day comes down to this level and we hit this level, that we're gonna see like strong resistance here. Again, how it acts here will be key to this rally. It could easily come back down to the 10 day and test this 10-day moving average, the short term. So that's something to watch out for. Yeah. Again, the rally might be the rally could be sustainable. We don't know for sure, but it could be. But in the short term, because we have such a strong round up, it wouldn't be surprised for it to come back down and test the short term moving average once more, before taking on the 50-day moving average line. So let me just draw it one more time. Here's the 50-day. It may move up to here and then come back down to the 10-day. So the 10-day slope is roughly around there. And then from here, it could then bounce and then cross the 50-day after that, right? So anyhow, this is just some sort of theory here, nothing solid, but that's the best hope for that to happen. Otherwise, if we hasn't seen any improvement and sorry, that's not the right line. If tariff doesn't improve and negotiations start to break down, then we can easily come back and test this low again. So, and that's the problem with the market. The market is in very choppy environment, very volatile. It's possible we just zigzag upward over time, so that could also happen. Please go ahead and like and subscribe this channel. That will really help me and support this channel. Next, I want to show how the market IBD signal this week. It did we have a fall through day on Tuesday, broad-based gains here, and then we have another one on Wednesday, index extend bullish gains, and then on Thursday we just stop extend gains again, but not on higher volume. And then Friday we finished the day and week strong gains. And on Thursday and Friday, IBD did increase their allocation. they don't use the signal like whether the market is in correction or come from uptrend anymore. But I'm just using anything below 40%. Still consider market is not fully in the uptrend mode yet. And then now, since we are now above 40%, uh, I just put the word confirm uptrend here. On the accumulation side, we see the number of stocks here. We have finally improved again. So that's good news. 200, 300. It's not a lot, but it's enough to move this rally so far. On the industry group side, same thing. We have more industry group moving up 50 to 60s group. And then on the sector side, we also improve on the technology. Retail also improved. This net accumulation minus distribution for that sector. Industrial also improved. Health also improved. Commodities are the weakest here, and financials are the strongest. So that's interesting, right? So I usually do this market recap video, and I also do another video for the growth stocks list that I follow. There's currently about 344 stocks there. And out of that, 219 is in uptrend, meaning they're above their short-term moving averages, and that's a 71% of the stocks are in uptrend. That really show the power of the momentum right now in the growth stocks that I follow. So before that it was so low. Like I mean, we had Monday we had 7%, even Tuesday we had 16%. As it was coming back up, but it's just we got down to the 1 and 2% level. Like that's how many stocks were under their short-term moving averages about a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, we have improved a lot. So stay tuned to watch that growth stocks video because I go through the top stocks in my list and just provide some quick analysis there. So entering earnings season, so lots of stocks are coming out next week. We are hitting the major week here. Meta is coming out, Microsoft's coming out with earnings, Apple, Amazon. Then we have also other growth stocks like Eat, Spotify, Stripe, GeneDX, Robinhood, and then we have some large cap health stocks, Pfizer, Lilly, Amgen, Caterpillar. We have ExxonMobil and Chevron. We have Altria Group and Philip Morris in the tobacco industry. We have GM. We have Chef. We have CI and CAH, Cardinal Health. And we'll talk about some of the stuff that report this week, like Tesla and Google later on. So the 10-year yield did come back down this week, which is a good sign for the stock market in general. So that is coming back down to about 4.26%. The US dollar, it did move up slightly this week, but it is still in the downtrend right here under the 10-day. And we have US dollar, oh sorry, US oil. The oil price has been kind of stagnant, just moving sideways right now. It did bounce a week ago, and then this week it's kind of digesting around this 21 day. I think it's still kind of in the downtrend mode right now. The gold has come back down a little bit after making new high intraday on Monday morning. So it's almost the reverse of the market, which is very interesting. For a long time, the gold has been moving up regardless what the market did. But right now, it seems to show some resistance. And also on the growth stock side, we've seen a lot of growth stocks didn't make new highs, despite the gold price make new high on Monday. So that's also a sign of relative weaker performance. Another big story this week is Bitcoin move up in price quite a bit. Here we see that it hit 94,000 yesterday. This market recap video with some of the mega caps. So just look at semiconductor. Very powerful move. Very similar to Nasdaq. We are above 10 and 21 day now, and we are coming to the 50 days line here. So we may test it very soon, or we may not test it and come back down. So again, very same scenario. What we want to see is just seeing if we can find support at the short-term moving average when it comes back down. We have Nvidia. Um, Nvidia is also bouncing. You can see it just went above 21 day on Friday. It finally made a move here. So that's also good news. But yeah, we have the 50-day line coming down, very similar. It will get challenged there. Most likely, we are in pretty still a steep, not a steep downtrend, but a downtrend based on the 50-day. So we'll watch and see. There is a lot of chip stocks, especially that has moved up, especially smaller size as well came back up. So, but again, whether this is just a temporary rally that will fizzle out, hard to say. We'll want to see how it handle the resistance level here and also the short-term moving average as it come back down. On the software side, this is looking a lot stronger. I'm actually quite impressed how this is looking. Like we are passing the 50-day line. So when we talk about the 50-day line trend line here, we pass it on Friday without any hesitation. It looks like it was able to jump the day. Like look at this, it went up during intraday, never really came back down and tested, and it closed strong all the way at the top. So this is very good momentum, and yeah, like we saw a few stocks like uh, ServiceNow, I think was one of them that broke out on really strong earnings here. So this is one of the growth stocks and has really good earnings, I believe. So we go down here. Yeah, so this is in the teens to 10, 20% and over, and very consistent sales as well. So this is showing good strength. So ServiceNow, and then another one very similar, which is SAP. This one also report good earnings, and this sales is a little bit stronger on the earnings side, and then on the sell side is a little bit weaker on the lower teens. So these two stocks really propel that index higher. And again, all these stocks are breaking out their 50-day line, trend line. So very powerful move. So here it is again for ServiceNow. So those two. Anyhow, let me jump back to the mega caps. So Microsoft. Again, we'll be reporting very soon. This one also cleared the 50-day moving average on Friday. So the software group is definitely a lot stronger, not just only compared to the semiconductor, but to the whole market in general, because they're all surpassing their 50-day, whereas most are still below it. So again, we make higher lows here. This is very constructive. I mean, we are coming back to the previous resistance level here. So the trend line is one thing, but now we are hitting the previous high right here. So we'll see what happens, but this is really impressive. So here's Google. The first thing I see here is how it did reverse after hitting the 50-day. I mean, this also came out really strong. Like, look at that steep, trend line on this rally here. Like, that is very strong. Volume has kicked in very hard, and Google reported. So I think on Friday was the what do you call the reaction, and it was up I think 4% or something by end of day. But it did come back down and only close at 1.6%. Again, nothing too serious. I mean, they usually when they gap up, they do come back and test, close the gap a little bit and test, your patience. So earnings are not bad. It's a little bit lower on the fourth quarter, but I think they did beat their earnings and probably the guidance too. So that's probably why the stock is up. Next we have Meta again. This one similar to Microsoft announcing in 4 days. This one is about 21 day. We have a long way to go. This one has corrected a lot. You see how steep that trend line is. So Amazon also reporting soon, in 5 days from now. Again, we broke this trend line above 21. We're coming to test the day. Apple also doing well. We are above 21 day and starting to rise towards the 50-day line. And finally, we have Tesla. Tesla reported, their numbers weren't good. So let's put it that way. But the market did not react negatively. So there's a saying, when your numbers are bad and the stocks still go up, that's a sign that all the sellers are gone, and now investors are looking ahead to their future, which is most likely robo taxi, right? Coming in June when the production start in Texas. So yeah, so it broke this long-term trend line as you can see here, and it took off after that. Now we even passed 50 days, so that is very bullish. And I think this week it went up a lot. So on Friday it went up almost 10%, and overall for the week it was up 18%. So this is very good week for them. The numbers again not very good, right? Minus 40% on earnings, and then forecast is also very weak, right? But it's really about the future numbers. Look at this 4 quarter numbers here and the sales here. That's really interesting. So by next March quarter, they expect growth to increase quite significantly here, you know, 60 cents. So yeah, March quarter, 27 to, yeah, so this was a bad quarter. That's why, but next year the numbers will be okay, like more comparable. Finally, we have Netflix. Really, this is the all-star of this mega cap group, I think. It is closing in on 500 billion market cap, and earnings is really growing strong. And this is tariff-free zone type of stock because it wasn't really not going to be affected by that. And look at this RS rating, blue dot right here. Very strong move. It's $1,100 now. The one thing I observed is that a lot of the lows in the days were like round numbers, and that was interesting to see. So right here, 950 is the low of that day. Um, it's not always the case. This is 973.05. Here's another one, 1032, like exactly on the dot in terms of the low. Again, I don't know if that makes any difference, but I just observed that. So yesterday, look at this, 109100. So what I'm trying to say is like at those lows, almost like exactly at the dollar level, someone is putting in a bid, like to prop it back up. I'm just observing this. It doesn't usually happen, especially for a four-digit number. What's the chance of it hitting 00, right? So anyhow, the reason why I'm mentioning that is that again, I have no idea whether that is true or not. But look at this volume. This is incredible volume coming in and propping up this stock right now. And this vertical slope is very strong for a big cap. So anyhow, it is 10% from this pivot now. So, so we'll see how far this can go. So thank you for watching this video. If you watched this far, I really hope you can like and subscribe and support this channel. And please stay tuned for my growth stock list. You do not want to miss that. 70% of the growth stocks list is now in uptrend. So you want to see who's in the top. Thank you for watching. Until next time.